Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the men's room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the men's room.
And away we go. Welcome to show number 2733. Along with Steve the Throw Hill, the Ted Smith, Robin Fox, and my cock. And you are in the men's room. On tap today, the lovely Taryn Daly is in for Ryan Castle on Sit and Spin. Today, the 10 highest paid musicians in the world. The world has secret medical slang. Get ready to play Profile This, plus headlines, the men's room shot of the day, fun listener emails, and everyone's favorites, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack, drinking the junk.
All right, here we go. So we head down under, where town celebrates 150th anniversary. 3 years too late. Meanwhile, a woman fires a shotgun at a stalker, but there was no stalker. She was drunk, and it was all about hate of a ghost. Doctors pissed at Peppa Pig as patients are coming in all the time. A family receives $15.6 million for son lost in his beer pong playing prime. And Merriam-Webster's word of the year is... I'll have Mike tell you about it 1 hour from now. And it's all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, let's face it. If you're an NFL football fan, I think we can agree that being a kicker in the NFL, if you're good, it might be one of the most cush jobs on earth, right? You're not taking a lot of hits. You go out there, you score the points. You're great for everyone's fantasy, and you get paid. So take Indianapolis Colts kicker Adam Vinatieri. He's 44 years old, still playing football. He's been in the league for over 2 decades, and the man makes good money. But understand that according to his contract, if he averages 90%, 9 out of 10 of his field goal attempts, he gets an additional $500,000, right? And that's aggregate for the entire season. Well, everything was working out well because he's one of those guys. But then this last Sunday, he had to play in Buffalo in a blizzard. And as blizzards do, it kind of messed up his game. So he missed 2 field goals, and now that takes his average down to 88%. So just keep in mind, because of the blizzard in Buffalo, he might be out $500,000. Thank you, snow. Thank you, weather. I guarantee you that's what he's saying. Meanwhile, you take 50 Cent, right? So he's still hanging out in the clubs. Hell, he even has a song about it. But he's out $1,000 after he accidentally broke some DJ equipment at a club. But that's kind of what happens when you jump from a speaker to a table and then into the DJ booth. But unfortunately, you land on top of the mixer. So he's out $1,000. But I think he can afford it. And look, if you have kids, you're out money every damn day. If you're like me, Miles, and you smoke, you're out money every day. Booze, student loans. Christ almighty, man. There's all kinds of things that maybe when you think back, I could have done better. So today, with money on the brain, we have our men's room fill-in-the-blank question. I know I would have a hell of a lot more money if blank didn't happen.
Be part of the big show. Call 844-999-OLA. You can like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at mensroomlive.com. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All the shows, and away we go. Welcome to show number 2733. What a large and in charge program we have for you today, as the lovely Taryn Daly is going to step in for Ryan Castle on Sit and Spin. And Taryn brings us today the top 10 highest paid musicians in the world. These are the people who bring home the bank in many forms or fashions. They're musicians, and they made a killing. So some you'll know, some you'll go, all right, well, I didn't figure they made that much money. It's kind of like when you read a list and you realize that Judge Judy is making more money than, I mean, like anybody. You know what I mean?
When's the last time anyone has seen her show?
I'm not
Any
sure.
of us.
Her millions are like in the 30s, the 40 millions. I can't, whatever
I would
the
say
number
she's
is.
around $40 million a year.
Yeah, I watched one of her shows like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
All right.
I watched it for like 2 minutes. I was like, man, it's Judge Judy.
Yeah, she does fine.
I think the people that watch daytime, though, love her.
Oh, I'm sure. Dude, she's making $40 million. Who's the other dude? Judge
Well, there's
Brown?
Well, no, there's Dr.
Yeah, there's
Phil.
Judge Joe Brown.
Judge Joe Brown.
Yeah, but Dr. Phil makes a ton of money,
Which is remarkable.
There's a lot of people out there who make
Dr.
more money
Phil.
than you could even imagine. And the same holds true with musicians. There's a lot of different reasons for this. So we have the top 10 highest paid musicians in the world coming up today with Sit and Spin. Also on the word, some secret medical slang. Now, basically what they did was there was some data collected from around the United States and in England. And in some instances, this slang or these acronyms were only used in one hospital at one particular place, but they all represent something different as far as your medical chart is concerned. So let's just say that, let's just say that your chart, Ted, says that you've got a chocolate hostage.
A chocolate hostage.
Yeah.
I'm constipated.
You are constipated.
Yeah.
That is exactly correct. That's right. So,
A chocolate hostage. They don't just say constipated.
some places do. There are other places that have some different medical slang.
It's like we work there.
and acronyms. Yes, you've got to.
Yeah, you got a chocolate hostage.
You got to make the job site entertaining. People do. We all have nicknames for different things.
I know. I don't know. You just have a different expectation of doctors.
No, I mean this is the medical profession in general.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's see here. I'll give you one more. Let's see here.
Chocolate hostage.
How about a? Oh boy. How about an FLK? What's an FLK?
Fat little kid.
Funny looking kid. Normally when they believe the kid might be inbred. FLK. Yeah. The word has secret medical slang and acronyms coming up right before we drink a toast with the shot of the day. And today we've got a men's room blank question for you. I know I'd have a hell of a lot more money if blank didn't happen. Now look, it doesn't necessarily need to be a bad thing. If you like smoking weed and you've smoked weed your entire life, I'm sure you've spent a hell of a lot of money on it.
Sure.
On the flip side, if you didn't spend all that money on weed, you would have a hell of a lot more money. Same is true with alcohol, good times. Like, look, most people can write off what they enjoy spending their money on and justify it as like, look, I work my ass off. This is what I like to do, and this is where I'm going to put my money.
Sure, but if you didn't do it, you'd have more.
Exactly. Just like anything else, man. If you're a gearhead and you want the newest motorcycle, the newest jet ski, whatever the deal is, you just would have a hell of a lot more money if you didn't buy that boat, if you didn't have those student loans, if you didn't have a kid in college. There's a lot of different reasons why you were doing so well, and then someone took a huge chunk of your money.
See, that's the weird thing about having kids. Because once I had kids, all that other crap I like to do, like, you just don't get to do it.
Used to get tattoos all the time.
Sure. Now I don't, because it costs money.
That's
and so
exactly
do
right.
kids. You know what I mean? And it's just, you have to, and you're always going to go kid first, but I'm like, how to take you to Red Robin? I could be getting a tattoo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Instead, I'm eating an onion ring tower.
Safe to say that your ink is in the thousands of dollars, easily. When you say,
absolutely. Yeah,
without
man.
question.
I crossed
Without
that
question.
threshold a
I
while
think it's
ago.
funny the things you'll spend money on, things you won't. So like certain clothes and stuff like this, I'm like, how do people spend that money? Well, then I'll go out on Friday night and spend $80 on a bar tab.
Right, and not even think about it.
You know, and it's like, I guess I could have just been fancy and bought that T-shirt.
Well, sneaker culture is another one. You know, people who collect sneakers and buy 4 or 5 pairs at a time, or spend $1,000 or more on a pair of limited release shoes.
And I'm with you. I like Air Maxes, but I have a limit of like 200.
And after that, you're not.
I
doing
can't
it.
get them.
Okay, all right. So let's talk a little bit about Adam Vinatieri. He is one of the most accurate field goal kickers, safe to say, in NFL history. One of the top, without question. I want to say he's got a couple different Super Bowls, if not more than that. I'm pretty sure he definitely won with the Patriots because he had a game winner, and I think he might have won with Indy or somebody with Manning.
Did he
maybe
win with Indy?
Maybe he did.
I know
maybe
he
he
there.
didn't.
I thought maybe
I don't
he
know.
won 2 with the Pats.
Maybe he did. He's got.
I think he has 2 with the. Did Indy did win one with
Peyton
Manning.
Manning. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he was there for that. I think
Right?
he has
They
3 rings.
they beat the Bears.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
correct.
right.
I just don't know.
And
if he's
everyone
there.
knew
Either
they
way, you know this guy, man. He's 40-some years old.
44.
He's been in the league forever.
Since 1996. Think about that. There's dudes that are getting drafted, like in next year's draft for the NFL. There's guys who are like, as long as I've watched football, Adam Vinatieri has been on one of these 2 teams.
Oh, yes.
Dude has been in the league for 21 seasons.
Mm-hmm. And he's good, except for last weekend. The Indianapolis Colts didn't have much luck playing the Bills during a snowstorm in Buffalo on Sunday. See what happened there?
So they're clever. Jesus Christ.
They did lose 13-7 in overtime, but kicker Adam Vinatieri may have lost more than just a game. Adam has a $500,000 incentive clause in his contract that kicks in if he makes 90% of his field goals this season. Before Sunday's game, Adam Vinatieri, even though he's on a crappy team, 95.7%.
He's money.
That is, that's what you pay the guy for, right? But during the game, he was asked to try 2 field goals in a blizzard. As you would expect, he missed them both. That brought his average down to 88%. Now, in order to get back up to 90%, Adam has to make 5 in a row without a miss. Definitely possible. He averages 2 field goal attempts per game. And there are 3 games left, so there's a chance he can climb back up there. But, yes.
You ever think the owner says to the coach, like, hey, man, look, I just don't want to pay the guy $500,000, so do what you can to set him up for, like, a 61-yarder.
Mm-hmm. Look.
Because now here's Vinatieri, like, God damn it, man. Like, I've hit 4 in a row. I know if I get this 5th one, I get $500,000. I know the owner called the coach to say, hey, you're going to try to kick this 61-yard, and, in the third quarter, and we're up by 24.
Those stories are there.
Oh,
there's stories about guys that get running backs getting taken out of the games, like the last game of the year,
or to avoid the incentive,
or not getting touchdowns. There's stories of like linebackers getting taken out of games as they were close to hitting their bonus on tackles.
You know what, man? I think if I'm an NFL player, I say to my agent, like, look, all those incentives are built in, whatever position you play, right? And obviously it gets more and more if you go into the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. Tell them, like, look, I need my incentives to be, like, for the first 13 games of the season. The reason why, because if we're going to make our trajectory and get into the playoffs, and I'm that good of a player, they're going to bench my ass. But I end up missing out on countless wins. So you think about it, like, well, they've already clinched this, that, and the other. So they bench the quarterback. They put in these second-string guys. But, like, that quarterback's missing out on, like, $4 million.
Yep.
That running back is not playing. He's missing out on $3 million. Like, they're not thrilled to be sitting there on the goddamn sideline knowing millions of dollars are going away, in spite of the fact they've put a team on their back to carry them to the point that they're going to go into the playoffs.
From what I saw of the game, it looked like they were in about a foot of snow easily.
Oh, yeah.
That's the other thing I was going to say. That was not a snow game. I mean, that was so much snow that almost, like, I thought they might just call it off.
At one point in time, when they had time to be able to do this, because a touchdown was scored by Indy, they had time to clear the area for Adam Vinatieri to actually kick an extra point.
And by clear the area, you mean all of the players ran off of the bench and they used their feet like kids to kick a spot for
and they basically kicked this strip, the normal running area that you would approach the ball. And when Vinatieri kicked the ball, thank God he hit a hook, because the wind was still blowing. And it's a blizzard, so the snow is blowing, but you got to remember the snow is blowing around because the wind is crazy. And he probably drew that ball back in by about 4 or 5 feet, just on an extra point from 35 yards out. That's how hard the wind was blowing. I mean, it started out completely wide right, and this is just the extra point. So in the event of someone kicking a field goal, unless you specifically take a timeout,
right,
and you go out there and you clear the area, you don't have that opportunity because the field goal unit has to run out. The play clock is winding down.
You got 40 seconds, right.
You've got 40 seconds to get that off. You can do the best you can, but you're not going to be able to clear that area like you can after you score a touchdown and have a little bit of time extra, because sometimes they review the play, there's a break in the action, the clock stops, et cetera, et cetera. So,
guys got to dance.
Yeah, exactly. So, and not only that, but the snapper is involved. One of the snaps that he missed, it was a high snap. It's understandable. The guy's throwing the ball and
there's snow and the wind, right?
Yeah, and the holder did his best job to get up, bring the ball down. It's amazing he even made contact with it. But the idea of just what this does contractually to Adam Vinatieri,
$500,000.
And not that Adam Vinatieri necessarily needs the money.
It's not that.
It has nothing to do with it.
$500,000, man. You're kicking in a blizzard. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I was in Las Vegas probably 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember what it was, but the Baltimore Ravens had basically just lost to the New England Patriots, and you could pretty well put that one all on the kicker. At that point in time.
What was that game?
It was
that
in the playoffs, and it was the year before they went to the Super Bowl. Okay?
Yeah.
So that December, and the Ravens had a pretty good team in my mind. And I thought, well, you know what? I wonder if I should do one of those things where I should just bet like, and they have pretty good odds because they made it to playoffs.
Yeah. Well, they made it to the championship game.
Yeah,
sure.
but they still have that thing where you knew at this point in time who was going to the Super Bowl. So you could bet on the upcoming season. So I was like, all right, well, that's one thing I want to do. I just want to go down. I've never done anything like this before. I'm going to pick like 3 or 4 teams that I think are going to be pretty good and one sleeper team and just put like $25, $50 on each team. Now, I got a little distracted. I never made it down to the booking parlor, and I was like, oh, God. And even when I got to the airport, I was like, I should have put that money down. I know I should have put that money down. I know I should. And I can't tell you what the odds were. That'd be fairly good for the teams I picked.
Sure.
Either way, the Ravens the next year go all the way, win the Super Bowl. And we go to the game. But the year before that, I mean, I even told my stepfather at dinner. I told my stepmom.
Why didn't you do it,
I'm
man?
like, dude, I'm just going to go down there and do this because I forgot. You know what I mean? I just never got around to it. Like that's basically all it was. And I don't know what the payout would have been. Maybe, $1,000. Whatever it was, I would have won.
It's probably like 5-1 odds.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it was. I mean, if I'd have put $50 down, I would have been able to. I think I would have been able to fly back to Vegas and make it worth my while to pick up my winnings.
Sure.
Man, just like you talk about it, it's Vegas. Like there's sports books in every hotel.
No, they're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Look, man, I was betting on at the time. I was betting on bowl games, which was great because, like, I bet on Virginia Tech, man, and they kicked the crap out of somebody. I was like, they never lose in bowl games. I knew it, so I was doing really well sports betting,
right?
Which I traditionally, don't do. But I mean, like, it's one game at a time, and like, it didn't matter if it was like Missouri Tech takes on Appalachian Southern.
Whatever.
And I'm like,
put the money down.
Yeah, look out, the pool of Weed Eater Bowl's on, and I got action. And I kind of did it the whole weekend like that. But man, the one bet I didn't make was the one that would have cashed me in. Our question today: I know I'd have a hell of a lot more money if blank didn't happen. 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Paula. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Well, how you guys doing?
We're great, Paula. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Okay.
So I've spent way too much money on problem animals. It's my avocation. And
problem animals?
Yeah.
Like you specifically seek out animals that need additional help?
Yeah, they're more interesting than the ones that don't. And also, like, people call you and say, here's this, horrible situation, and will you take this off my hands? And one of them I've spent the most money on is my little friend Pepe the alpaca.
Oh, Pepe
Nice.
the alpaca. Sure. How much does an alpaca go for?
Well, see, if you do animal rescue, people call you and they say, hey, you got to come over. There's some abandoned alpacas in a field. Round them up. They need to,
Yeah, but you volunteer for this to happen. You know what I mean? Like, you make it readily available that, like, look, you are willing to take in just about. There's a reason people call you, Paula.
I know that, yeah, and I don't mind, and I say no when it's something I can't handle. Or
What's an animal you can't handle? Because if you said an alpaca, all right, I don't know enough about alpacas to agree to take it. Like, I hope it does well. I want it to be healthy, all that stuff, but I wouldn't even know where to begin with an alpaca.
That's how you learn.
Okay, I got a question for you, Paula. I shave an alpaca. How many pairs of socks am I getting out of this deal?
Well, how many can you knit? I don't know.
I don't know. Like, yeah, as I'm saying, like, because I've got some alpaca socks.
Dude, the blankets are unbelievable.
They're fantastic. I'm just wondering,
alpacas are the best. Everybody's like into llamas these days. I'm an alpaca.
Do you need to
They
like
say like
shave?
alpacas, just by their fur alone, when they walk around, they're just comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, totally. That's what I'm saying. Like, how many alpacas does it take to make your blanket?
Well, I'm a big man.
I don't know, because usually, like, when I have mine sheared, when most people here have theirs sheared, they give it away, the fleece. People don't have time to do all that knitting, and
They don't have time to knit themselves some alpaca fur
Sure,
socks.
they do. I think you're getting. I think I think you should sell it.
I'll sell it to you.
I think you should sell it for a profit.
You guys can knit while you're on air.
That'd be great, Paula.
That'd be very relaxing.
So what are some of the animals you've turned down? Like I call, like you'll take an alpaca, but if I call you and say, hey, there's a tiger cub, are you turning me down?
I would, yeah. I've turned down a Nile crocodile, like a half-grown Nile crocodile.
Jesus.
I said yes to a few other, like dwarf crocodiles, but I said
Wait,
no.
how big is a dwarf crocodile?
Well, it's a caiman. They used to sell them in the 70s to children. And when they get big, they get about, 3-4 feet long.
Where did you keep this thing?
Well, I never kept them for very long. I would pass the aquatic animals along to somebody who could, who was set up for that. But in the meantime, they'd usually be in the tub. And, I, of course, would have to get it out.
There's a caiman in my tub.
Obviously, they're just in the tub.
Paula, how much money do you think over the years, if you had a rough estimate, how much money have you spent?
Oh, probably tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. And do you get any help? Do veterinary clinics offer the services for your rescue or anything like that?
They used to back in the old days, but veterinary help has, veterinary is now more of a boutique industry. I do catch some breaks from some of the livestock vets. But
wait a minute, hold on. There's a specialized chicken doctor out there. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Oh, the famous airline Flying Turkey I happen to know the person who had the turkey, and there was a specialized turkey vet for that turkey.
Huh. Oh, damn.
A specialized turkey vet.
Dr. Butterball.
Dr. Gobble.
Yeah. But
what do you think your parents think when you say, hey, man, not only going to be a veterinarian, but I'm going to specialize in turkeys? So I tell my kid, and you're paying for the rest of your school.
And when he was ready to do anything, a little plastic thing popped out of his shoulder.
Well, usually, a lot of times the vets will specialize, like they'll get the general veterinary, and then they'll specialize in birds, which is birds, in general, including parrots and raptors and other things.
How many animals do you have right now?
Not too many. I have a farm. I'm not doing this in a townhouse or anything. I've got a few horses, like 3 horses, and I've got about 3 alpacas and a llama and some chickens.
How many chickens you got? Now, right now you're over 12.
Yeah, I don't count the chickens.
How many dogs you have?
Eagles. I got eagles, too.
Eagles?
You have bald eagles?
I have bald eagles. I don't have them, but I have them. They come around.
Oh, they're not.
Okay.
You don't rescue bald eagles. They just happen to be on your property because you've got chihuahuas and things.
They rescue my extra chickens for me.
I see.
So I don't.
They rescue your extra chickens.
Yeah.
I bet they do. So do we. Yeah.
Damn, 3 alpacas.
We're going to go out and chop down our own Christmas tree. I'm going to go out and get our own chicken for dinner tonight.
Yep.
Men's Room Blank question. I know I'd have a hell of a lot more money if blank didn't happen. 844-999-OLA. Hold the line. More of your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Hola, bitch, hola. You have entered the men's room.
Indianapolis Colts kicker Adam Vinatieri had a clause in his contract if he made 90% of his kicks, and the season isn't over. He still has a chance to do this, but either way, he would make $500,000. Unfortunately, he tried 2 field goals in Buffalo in a blizzard, and as you would expect, he missed them both, and that brought his average down to 88% from 95.7%.
Damn.
Which means that he has to make 5 in a row without a miss to get back above 90% and get that $500,000 back. Last year, the same thing basically happened to him, and he lost the $500,000 as well.
What happened last year?
He played in an inclement weather game and missed kicks that game. Gotta remember, man, the guy's older. He's a great kicker. He's one of the most accurate, but he's also a kicker who predominantly kicks indoors.
Yeah, that's true.
But he's Adam Vinatieri. He's almost most famous for kicking in snow.
Exactly.
He
And
is,
outdoor.
but that was years. I mean, think of it. Dude's been here for 21 seasons playing football. So, like, all the fancy memories you have of him, it's like, you're right, but that'd be 12 years? Because he's been with the Colts for, like, a decade.
But
so he's been kicking indoors for a long ass
Snow
time.
is snow, and in between breaks, they go out and they shovel the lines on the field, and they do all that stuff. And, you know, even if you're in Green Bay, and Green Bay gets snow, it's much different, I think, than lake effect snow hitting Buffalo. When that comes in, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even think
it's
you
a
have
blizzard.
I don't think you have time to be even to find the lines on the field. I think when that thing hits, man, it's just like, oh man, look at this coming down. This is crazy.
They called it what? Thunder snow?
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
I mean,
literally,
like,
you have thunder during it. And I mean, I'm saying, like, I've never seen a game with that much snow.
Nah, I agree.
where you couldn't control it on the field, and they couldn't do anything about it. Like, You know what? It probably would have been the game of the week to watch. I wish it would have been on because it would have been entertaining as hell. I know
Red
the score-
Zone, baby.
Red Zone was only
dude.
13-7, but yeah.
But they kept, and that's the thing, Red Zone specifically about touchdowns or Red Zone opportunities. There were not a lot of those, but they kept going back to the game, I think just because everyone enjoyed seeing these guys play in a foot of snow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great, but you couldn't tell if a guy went out of bounds. I mean, it was, they're trying to figure out, like, where did he step out? And they're like, man, we don't know. You can't see the border anywhere.
The other problem is like, he's a kicker. So he spent most of the game standing around. So
Oh,
by
he's
the
cold
time-
all game,
I was
man.
going to say, his feet are like little frozen rocks.
I know.
Jesus Christ.
By the way, as far as the question goes, I know I'd have a hell of a lot more money if blank didn't happen. It says, I'd have a hell of a lot more money if I had never married that lying, thieving, cheating whore.
Okay.
Whore in all caps. I'd have a lot more money if I had pulled out 3 times. I'm going to guess he has 3 kids. And then I knew I'd have...
So that's very specific to
Yes.
know which round got it done.
3 times, yeah. And I knew I'd have way more money if my wife didn't buy. You ready? How much do you think the vacuum is that she bought?
I would say if it's a higher end one, $500.
You need to go much higher.
$1,000.
$4,500 vacuum.
Whoa.
What kind of vacuum?
Whoa.
Dude, I don't know. And they
You
have not specified.
gotta send us back more information than that.
I want to know a $4,500 vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, does that have an attachment
Okay,
for like
all
sexy
right.
time?
So this sounds really futuristic, but it's not because it was a stupid idea. But back in the day, in my first or second home in West Virginia, they had what they called a central vacuuming system.
Is that thing where you like plugged it into the
Plugged it
thing
into
on the wall?
right?
Yeah.
There's a little hole there. And I want to say it was Newtone or somebody made this thing. Okay, but here's the thing. The farthest point from that bag in that unit, which was down in the basement,
Yeah.
okay, there was no suction on the vacuum. You know what I mean? Like, it had run up like 2 floors, like down the hallway, all the way across. I mean, like, that's a long way to go for
Yeah.
sucking. You know what I mean? So, like, by the time you, like, got to the ends of the house, like, this thing ain't picking up ass. Right? Like, it's not even, like, it's spinning. It just ain't sucking. Men's Room blank question. I know I'd have a hell of a lot more money if blank didn't happen. 844-999-OLA.
Take one.
Hello, Brent. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola!
Hola!
Hey, guys. I'd have a hell of a lot more money if I never discovered the female gender.
The female
Count
gender.
it.
Where did you find one of these?
Well, I've never been married myself, but I know a couple of you guys are. The reason why I say that is it doesn't really matter if you're married or if you have a girlfriend or if you're just on a first date hoping to score some action. There's a lot of money that's spent right there.
There's a lot of
yeah.
money that's spent there, but it's a lot different whether you're married or have a girlfriend or live together. It's trust me.
See, on the date-
it might sound like on a date, yes, you're still out the same amount of money if you're willing to. If you're going to
But
pick up
that
the
might
tab.
lead to sex.
Well, yeah, but on the
That's the beauty of a
But
date.
on the backside of that relationship, then it could be something that's incredibly different than just a regular dinner. So, how much money? How much money? How much is this your hobby to try to go out with a bunch of different people or what?
Oh, no, it's not my hobby. I'm just your average guy that realizes how much money that it takes to please a woman.
What? How many dates do you go on?
I've been on my fair share, and I used to like I said, I've never been married.
Okay.
But I had a long-term girlfriend, and we lived together, and just how women are, and it
All right. Well, Brent,
seems
let's go back. When's the last time you went on a date? Has it been a month?
it's probably been a year.
A year. And where did you go?
I actually took her to Ruth's Chris.
Oh,
Nice.
well then, hell, Brent. No wonder.
I mean, that's part
I'll
of
go
it.
out
dude.
with you, man. Hold on for a second. We're going to talk to you a bit more. Geez, Wes, Brent's going to take you to Ruth Chris. I'll go out on that date. Men's Room blank question. I know I'd have a hell of a lot more money if blank didn't happen.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.